All right, gonna get this show on the road. I did a video called Biden versus Trump, who's actually better for America? And ran the video about a week ago. Got a bunch of responses. And for tonight's live, we're going to go through the responses. Biden versus Trump, who's better for America? These aren't my views. These aren't some major network's views. These are voters' views. I asked regular people, what's going on? And this is what they said. So, take a quick sip, wet my whistle. And let's talk. Biden versus Trump. Who's better for America? What are voters saying about that question? Take a snack. I'm just going to kind of relax today because that's what I feel like. Biden versus Trump. Who's better for America? One of the comments that came in is, I was taught that you don't vote for the best person. You vote for the least of the evils. And I got a reply. I was also told voting for the lesser evil is still voting for evil. I'm going to be reading all these comments. I got to get the glasses going. There are a lot of people who had comments about who's better for America. So this person didn't actually say who they were going to vote for, who they thought was better. They just said vote for the least of the evils, which isn't useful. But then somebody came back and said, I was told voting for the lesser evil is still voting for evil. I think that's an exaggeration. I mean, unpopular opinion. I don't think Biden or Trump are evil. I just think some people feel financially better with one versus the other. If you look at the economy, it improved under Trump and it improved under Biden. It just might not have improved for an individual the same under both. The next commenter said, I'm voting for Joe because he believes in democracy, unlike the other guy who don't know his butt from his elbow and wants to be a dictator on day one. I don't believe Trump wants to be a dictator. I think that people tend to exaggerate those kinds of things. And when you start exaggerating, you lose people because you lose credibility. You're voting for Joe? Okay, he believes in democracy. I don't think Trump doesn't believe in democracy. I think they both do. They just have different ways of going about it. Next commenter said, Bidenomics is working. Okay. I get it. You're making more money under Biden, so you're going to vote for Biden. Interesting, this next commenter. It's not even close when your VP, family, and previous admissions say that you're bad. What else do you need? Okay. Now, it's true. So Mike Pence did come out and say that he's not going to vote for Trump. But Pence also said that he's not going to vote for Biden. So if you're not voting for Trump and you're not voting for Biden, I don't really know what you're doing. That's kind of vague. Family. Trump's Trump's distant family is distancing themselves from him. I don't think anybody in his inner circle has disavowed him. So I'm not sure I don't know what they mean there. Let me see. The next guy said, also Biden, okay, we're getting a lot of Biden people. Also, Biden has done a great job and Trump didn't do anything while in office. And that got a reply. Trump played a lot of golf while he was in office. Now, see, that's not true. I wouldn't say Trump didn't do anything in office. I mean, the economy improved under Trump. The reality is the economy was improving under Trump until COVID hit, and then the economy went into the toilet. But then it kind of started to recover, and Biden comes in, and the economy keeps improving. Let me see. The next person says, when you do a better job in less time, and there's no criminal activity since President Biden took office. Okay, he said you're doing a better job in less time. I don't know what they mean there. and saying there's no criminal activity since President Biden took office. Well, that's just not true. Um, I mean, some criminal activity is not being prosecuted anymore. So if you're saying there's less criminal activity because people are being given a little bit more free reign, maybe that's what you mean. But I don't know. Let me see. I'm voting for the guy whose VP is supporting him. Okay, we got a lot of Biden support right now. I know there's going to be some Trump support in here too. I'm just going through the comments, going to see what people say. Why do people think that Biden or Trump is better for the country? I'm voting for democracy and to protect the rights of others. Roe-vember. Okay, so that's a Roe v. Wade vote. So that's going to be a Biden person. Trump has come out and said that he thinks that should be a state issue. That was a difference from his earlier positions. And I mean, I understand that. The funny thing about that is if you look at the states where the procedure is legal versus illegal, it's almost the same as the states that vote Democrat versus Republican. Liberal states have it legal. Conservative states have that procedure illegal. So Trump doesn't want to mess up his base by distancing himself from them on that issue. I'm voting for America, democracy, and the candidate that isn't a detriment to the country. And for all you cult members, that is not Trump. Interesting. Here's a funny fact. I asked people in a different video to tell me what they liked about the guy they were voting for. If you're voting for Trump, why do you like him? If you're voting for Biden, why do you like him? And the funny thing is, if you ask a Trump supporter why they like Trump, they'll tell you why they like Trump. If you ask a Biden supporter why they like Biden, they'll tell you why they like Biden, but then they're still going to tell you why they don't like Trump. Like they can't separate the two. This election is all about how you feel about Trump. That's it. You're either voting for him or you're voting against him. But I don't see many people who are just purely voting for Biden because they believe in him. It's just they don't like Trump. He already did a better job. Let's go Biden. Okay, I think that was a spell check correct. Wow, a lot of Biden supporters. Biden is better. I'm voting for President Joe Biden again. Somebody came in and said, me too. Okay, here we go. I'm voting for Trump for a third time because he cares about the American people and he cares about the American people he wants. Don't know what that he wants was. Lower prices, lower gas, lower health bill, less taxes, closed borders, no wars. Okay. Got a lot of reasons to substantiate why he's voting for Trump. I guess the only one I wonder about is no wars. There were no war, Trump, Gaza and Ukraine didn't start under Trump. I don't know what would have happened if Trump was president right now. I don't know if we would have still had Gaza in Ukraine. We might have still had him. I don't blame Biden for Gaza and Ukraine. He didn't set those things in motion. Some people do, but personally I don't blame him for those. This got a lot of replies. Okay, so he said he wanted to be a dictator. That's enough to not vote for him. Again, they're going over the top. If you watch the whole clip, when he was talking about being a dictator on day one, it was about starting American energy production and closing the border. Okay, I didn't see a quote with him specifically talking about being a dictator. I wouldn't be surprised there. Trump gets misquoted on a lot of things. There was, he was talking to auto workers and he was talking about a bloodbath and that got taken out of context. If he said the word dictator, I wouldn't be surprised if that got taken out of context. I do know that Trump and Biden are in very different places about American energy. Well, let me not say American energy. That's too broad. Let's just call it what it is, about drilling for oil. All right. Trump is pro-drilling for oil. Biden is anti-drilling for oil, at least right now. I did look into this, and it's kind of a weird issue. I mean, here's something I didn't know that people might not realize. America is the biggest producer of oil export in the world. I thought it was going to be Saudi Arabia, but it's not. You can look that up on Google in 10 seconds. We don't have to drill for oil right now. We've got like 5 years of reserves that are proven, and then we got all this extra oil that we haven't even tested yet. Now, that doesn't mean that we should just stop. You're going to run out if you don't keep drilling, but if you're saying you don't have to drill right now, that's true. But to say you should stop drilling forever, that's false. So they've both got some points. That's like just a difference of opinion on how you want to tackle it. This will be your second loss. Okay, so they're saying if you vote for Trump, you're going to have a second loss. Let me see. Well, vote Trump and see if prices will automatically drop. People will vote who they want, and if the majority vote for Trump, then he will be the next president, and if the majority vote for Biden, then he'll be the next president. People need to stop trying to convince others that they should vote for who they themselves like, and stop cussing each other over politics. Simple. Okay. Things have gone off the rails a little bit. People who like Trump seem to hate Biden supporters. People who like Biden seem to hate Trump supporters. We kind of lost that ability to have a conversation. But there's like some old saying that says things you don't talk about in mixed company are like death, taxes, and politics. Well, I get it. You talk politics, you can rub people the wrong way. This Trump supporter is saying, okay, you Biden supporter, you won. Are you better off? Some people are, some people aren't. I think if you're a big city person, Biden probably left you in a better situation. If you're not, Trump probably left you in a better situation. So it's just going to boil down to who has more people show up at the polls, big cities or middle and small towns. Absolutely, facts are always better than fiction. Okay. No wars, cities burned under Trump, and he ran into a bunker. Cities burned under Trump, and he ran into a bunker. Again, I don't know what people are saying when they say stuff like that. You're just embellishing. You gotta be like, once you start just making stuff up, you lose people because you lose your credibility. Okay, this next person, they're both evil. We're screwed. Biden's not evil. Trump's not evil. That's exaggeration. Just keep it realistic. What do you like about somebody, or what do you dislike about somebody? Oh, we got a comment. Let me see. Noah Colbert. Let me see what you said, Noah. I wasn't even thinking about comments, but I got to get in here and read some comments. Okay, Clash tonight. Talk about Jews. Trump may have said something. I don't know what he said about Jews. I didn't see anything there. Miss Tifo 1. I love Biden. Okay. Noah Colbert. What you got, Noah? I'm leaving the United States for university in the Netherlands, with the big motivation being Trump. I refuse to support someone who is as corrupt as him. Disgusting man regardless of policies. Okay, if you're still in, Noah, why is your disgust of Trump causing you to leave university for the Netherlands to go to college? Because Biden is he's offered debt forgiveness, so I would figure that this is a better time to go to school in the United States than it had been. Okay, Marco Belosi Jr., I don't know what your SKBDI toilet. Not sure what you're saying there. James Lane, like Portland, yeah, there's places that are running in the ground right now. Keep the good word. Okay. Hi from India, Aditya Kashal. Hello, Aditya in India, from New Jersey. All right, we got through the comments. I'm going to get back to this. Wasn't even thinking about comments coming in, but let me see. The next person said, I'm voting for the person who has the greater morals, not because I like the other or think he's going to do better for the country. You only have two choices, so your question you pose is not possible for anyone to answer if you only have two choices, one of them being a criminal and has no morals whatsoever. Now, I've responded to this one, and I said lots of people who've responded agree with you and lots of people disagree with you, so it's a valid question. People are split on these candidates. And some people just can't get it through their head that people don't think the way they do. I've talked to Biden supporters who cannot believe anybody would vote for Trump. I've talked to Trump supporters who cannot believe that anybody would vote for Biden. And I've got friends on both sides of that equation. So it's not just random people. I've got good friends who are voting both sides and they've got their rationale for why they're voting both sides. And I respect their opinions. Really, I just want to make sure people vote. We got another, okay, Aditya came back. Seeing the gray area of truth. Why do people feel Biden is a poor choice? Okay, we'll go through. I'll tell you, Aditya, because I've asked people, what do they hate about Biden and what do they hate about Trump? For a lot of people, Biden does not put them in the best position for success because if you're middle America, some of Biden's policies don't seem to benefit you. There are jobs that aren't going to be available to you. It can feel like your tax dollars are being spent on everybody but your own family. And Biden's plans don't necessarily feel like something that people believe they fit. Like they don't see themselves fitting into his plan. Those were the comments people had about why they hate Biden. It got into his policies. Now, to be fair, I asked the same question about why do people hate Trump. People who hated Trump because of his character. It wasn't his policies. They got into January 6th, his business deals, his sexual misconduct. That's why they hated Trump. Trump haters hate who he is. Biden haters tend to just not like his policy. So it's kind of interesting, that divide in America. Let me see. We've seen both sides in action. That's true. This is a unique election. I am very excited about this. This is the first time where we're voting, and both the people who are running have been president before. So it's not, you don't have to wonder what one guy's going to be like in office. We've seen Trump in office. We've seen Biden in office. You get to answer the question, who do you think did a better job, and who gets your vote? Let me see. 82nd Airborne. I'm voting for Trump again. Trump follows the Constitution. That means less mistakes. Plus, he doesn't back down and takes no crap from anybody. This got a lot of replies. Follows the Constitution was a question. Are you talking about the guy who attempted a coup after losing the election? Then we get 101st Airborne. I'm voting for Biden, 24. Then we get, let me see, the original poster comes back. 82nd Airborne. Okay, so we're getting into this 82nd Airborne versus 101st Airborne war. 82nd Airborne. You must be scared of Trump. How does one guy attempt a coup? Fair, Trump didn't attempt, well, you can't attempt a coup by yourself. And I'm not saying Trump attempted a coup because he didn't tell people to storm the Capitol. But I get what they're saying. Where does it speak about one to be a dictator in our Constitution? Okay. 82nd Airborne, he loves representing 82nd Airborne. The Constitution is specific about preventing a dictatorship. Yep. Okay. So that was a fun little war. No other choices. Yeah, you got two choices. You always have two choices. Basically, that's how the election works. I'm not advocating anybody vote independent. I think that's a wasted vote. But some people will vote RFK Jr. I've already seen what happens. Yes, we have. So who are you voting for? Both. Don't know what they're saying there. How did like and dislike enter the conversation? Now that's interesting. They're saying, how did we start focusing on the candidate who we like or dislike and not the policies? But that's what it is. I mean, part of what we have here, Trump is a unique candidate because Trump was a media darling long before he ever ran for president. If you follow, I mean, Trump was a socialite. He's a huge presence. He ran Miss Universe pageants. He's done all sorts of things. He's a media mogul. He was always in the news. in my estimation, Trump has been the same old person he's always been up through now. It's just that now he's a president, and I think a lot of people were expecting him to start acting differently when he became president than he did beforehand. And that's not the case. He's still the same guy he always was. Um, so I don't know why people would necessarily expect him to change his whole demeanor. I will admit, I thought that when he got elected, that he would be, I thought he would become a politician. I thought he's a businessman, but he needs to be a politician for this job. And I was assuming he would. He kind of stuck to his gun. So I think that just kind of caught people off guard because they weren't expecting it. Let me see. I like Trump, good personality, tolerable policies, both foreign and domestic, isn't politically correct. Yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about. Okay. RFK, oh man, an RFK person, RFK. I realize he's a bit extreme on some of his personal points of view, but he seems very centrist in most of his political stances, where I personally believe most Americans are. I do, well, vote for who you're going to vote for. I'm not voting RFK. I wouldn't vote RFK. You got two parties that have a chance to win, the Democrats and the Republicans. You vote independent, you're just kind of throwing your vote away. That's my opinion. Truth is greater than any political propaganda, or propaganda. I'm keeping the language as clean as I can because I don't want to get a YouTube ban. Well, I don't want YouTube limiting my reach. But yeah, everybody can read the comment section. I vote conservative values. And I asked, this particular commenter, I asked what she meant. Because I didn't know if she meant Roe v. Wade or if she meant personal behavior. And she came back and said, I'm pro-life. Do you mean the candidate's personal behavior in their private life? Because I was like, is that what you mean? And then I just basically said, okay, thanks. I wasn't sure which way you meant. I see that you mean you're pro-life. That means you're voting Biden. Got it. I get that. If that's a big issue for you, it's like, okay, there's a choice there. I vote for Biden. The policies and bills he passed help with student loan debt, infrastructure being built. I also have internet in my rural area because of him. Statistically, stock market's doing better under him, and unemployment's been lower than anyone ever expected. Also, Biden didn't try to stop the peaceful power of transition and lie about the election being stolen like a child. Okay. The item in there that I found the most interesting was they were talking about the student loan debt. I've seen people, young voters, who've talked about how they're voting for Biden because of debt forgiveness. And, I've been out of college for quite a while, so that wasn't even on my radar. But, yeah, if I was a student and I had tens of thousands of dollars in debt and you canceled it, you'd get my vote. Like, sure, keep doing what you're doing. I basically said that in the comments, and then someone else said going to school and using loans to pay for it is a choice. The government shouldn't pay for bad decisions. I wouldn't call going to college a bad decision, and it's an expensive decision, sure. And I don't have a problem with government saying, you know what, you took the loan, you got to pay it off. That doesn't benefit, the loan forgiveness doesn't benefit me at all. But if I was a student who had tens of thousands of dollars in debt and the government decided to forgive it, I'm not going to complain about it. It doesn't help me. I wouldn't, that's not an issue I would vote for. I'm using my tax dollars to pay for somebody else's college. That's not on my mind. But, if you're the student and you're getting the benefit, yeah, you get the vote. This election is no contest for me. Trump needs to win, but it's also sad that we can't find better candidates in this country of 330 million people. Well, technically, these are the best two candidates. These are the two that have risen through the ranks to be the Democratic and Republican nominees. So, I don't think that, it's not by accident that these are the guys who are winning. These are the guys that most resonate with America. And on election night, we're going to have to see which one wins. Oh, here's somebody. How and why I vote ain't your business. It's like, why did you take the time to come to a video and make that comment? Like, just don't tell me. Save yourself the energy. Um, this guy is good. He's asking the right question. Oh, he's talking about me. This guy is good. He's asking the right question. Too bad these two are really our only choice. As I look forward to our choice, I believe Trump offers more hope for us over the next 4 years. The question here was, who do you actually believe is better for America and why? And this guy's like, yeah, that's the question. Don't come here and tell me why you hate a candidate. Tell me why you like the candidate you vote for. That's the question I want to see. Let me see. Oh, we got Doug Ant came in with a comment. I'm a Democrat. We could have had two presidents in the White House in 2016. How did we choose Trump? We could have had two. Okay, so tell me what you mean there, because I mean, Hillary did run against Trump and she lost. So are you talking about Bernie Sanders? Uh, who are you saying? Who's the second president, I guess, that we could have had? I don't know if you mean Hillary and Bernie or something else. Um, actually, what did Bernie? Yeah, well, yeah. Let me know what you mean there. Somebody said, "Well, now let's hear your story," and I was like, "Who is that?" Jeremy Boyce. Okay, so Jeremy Boyce, if you show up, same thing I said to you in the chat. You want to hear my story? You got to come to my live stream. Um, if Jeremy Boyce shows up, then we will have a chat. And somebody said they don't recommend my channel. I just said, well, why? Wow. Okay, you don't have to watch. I was just curious about that. But let me go back to the other one. Because here's the funny thing to the question about why do you hate Biden and why do you hate Trump? And I literally did. I did a separate video for each because I just wanted people to tell me what was on their mind. And we got all the comments right here. Why people said they don't like him. First one said, Trump 2024, the Democrats made me a Republican. And I just said, well, what was the last straw? That was kind of a surprising comment. And this guy said the lies, the policies, the indictments, and saying all this stuff about saving democracy while they're trying to jail the other candidate. And the media telling us the opposite of what we can actually see with our own eyes. Now, I do agree that there's a witch hunt for Trump right now. I mean, there are a lot of cases against him. There's no coincidence that they're happening now. But I will say this, because I think that when Trump didn't cede power to Biden, he made a lot of enemies. I mean, when he basically decided that he wasn't going to acknowledge that Biden was now president, I think there are a couple of people who just said, I'm going to remember this and I'm going to come get you in 4 years if you're trying to run again. And the roosters have come home to roost. I don't think they would have been this aggressive if he had done that. So, he's got to own that. But now it is what it is. I don't think Trump's going to jail for any. I think all of this is just theater. He's not going to jail. But we got to go through the steps. The next one was, I hate Biden's policies and I hate Biden. Okay. Everybody's welcome to their opinion. Trump 2024, 100%. Okay. I could care about Trump's personality. Oh, I think they meant to say I couldn't care about Trump's personality. I love his policies. Somebody came back and said, what policies? And then he said, well, I got tax cuts, Jobs Act, criminal justice reform, regulatory reform, trade policies, Middle East diplomacy, and Veterans Affairs reform, for a few examples. I should have replied to this. Middle East diplomacy. I don't know what they meant by that. Tax cuts, okay. Yes, they're I don't know how much this person makes. Jody Williams. I think they've been in a couple of comments. I don't know how much this person makes. Trump's tax cuts don't benefit me directly, they benefit me indirectly. If he cuts taxes to my company, then in theory, my company does better, which means I get a bigger annual bonus at the end of the year. We have to see if that's actually what, if he's elected and that's what plays out. We got to see. But okay, that could benefit me, but it's not like money directly into my pocket. A lot of the other stuff I get, but I don't know what they mean by Trump's Middle East diplomacy. Trump did do a lot with veteran affairs. I will acknowledge that. That doesn't get talked about enough. Trump 2024. I will vote for the guy that can walk up the stairs without falling down. Okay, so I'm assuming he means Trump. Trump and Biden are both old. When people say Biden's 81, it's like, okay, well, Trump's 77. We're not talking about, a spring chicken versus an old goat here. But Trump does look more nimble than Biden. So we'll kind of acknowledge that Trump seems to have a little bit more vigor. Trump 2024 all the way. His character is in question, but his policies for America are spot on. Vote Trump 2024. Okay? No one ever said Democrats were smart, and they do tend to vote with their emotions. Somebody replied, says the Donnie cult. See, that kind of comment, if you're trying to convince somebody of your argument, calling them stupid is not going to work. You're just going to take them off. Now they're going to get even more entrenched. I don't think this is an IQ test. You're not voting for Biden or Trump because you're smart or dumb. You're voting for them because, one of them's putting more money in your pocket than the other. And there's not a right answer to that. One candidate helps some people, the other candidate helps other people. We just have to see who's got more support at the polls. Let me see. I think that Biden's suit should have his sponsors on it. What? I think that Biden's suit should have his sponsors on it to show who really owns him. And Trump should wear his suit with his sponsors. See which ones has the most sponsors. Answer. Okay, that's weird. You want them to walk around like NASCARs with logos and decals all over the place. Look, special interests fuel Biden, they fuel Trump. If you're trying to make the argument that one is less ruled by special interests than the other, you're kidding yourself. That's just politics. I mean, it's politics. That's the way the game is played. Let me see. Trump policies all the way. Okay. Trump is going to fix Bidenomics. Fix Biden. The economy improved under both. Fix Bidenomics. If he's talking about energy and drilling for oil, okay, Trump will drill for oil that Biden won't drill for. But that's a very specific number of jobs. So even if you are pro that, do you live someplace where you're going to get one of those jobs? It's not like they're going to be drilling for oil all over the place. What is it? I think there was an Alaska one and there's one other, and I don't remember where the other one is off the top of my head. I'd have to go back and look. Trump 2024. I like Trump. Donald, please. Okay. A lot of Trump. Policies affect your life. Character does not. So that's another. A lot of people will say that. They'll say, look, we like Trump's policies. And that's generally what I hear. When I hear somebody say that they're voting for Trump, for the most part, it's, I like the policies. I'm not worrying about the person's character. And I understand that. I mean, if you only endorsed people whose character you believed in, there'd be a lot of things that I would not be able to do. I look at movies, I listen to music. There are a lot of things where the creator is a scumbag, but the art, the finished product is fantastic. I'm like, you know what? Woody Allen, Michael Jackson, whoever, I'm not worrying about your private life. Make good music and movies. And if you get thrown in jail because you're a dirtbag, well, that's on you. But I'll enjoy your finished products while I can. Trump 2024. You did a great job. Keep your comment non-committal. I agree completely. Okay, yeah. So I'll tell you. When I make a video, I don't side one way or the other. I want Democrats to comment. I want Republicans to comment. I want to see what happens when Democrats and Republicans both have equal access to the platform, both can make comments. We don't have enough of that. Right now, what we have is a lot of biased news. You tell me the news network, you tell me the person they're talking about, and I can tell you the story before I even turn on the channel. Because Fox News supports somebody, MSNBC supports somebody, the Wall Street Journal supports somebody. You already know. And all of their stories are spun specifically to that narrative. So, yeah, I want something that gets away from all that. Whoever you are, whoever you're voting for, come in and comment. But if you're independent, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to say, what's the point? Because the independents don't win. But that's just me. A quality I look for in a president is his ability to find his way off a stage. Okay, so that's a Trump supporter. Biden is not senile. People who go down that route kind of lose credibility. Look at Biden's State of the Union address. That dude had fire. I know Trump is the right answer, but Biden is going to win. And I said if Trump doesn't win Pennsylvania or Michigan, I think you're right. Here's a fact about the election. Fact about the election. Okay. We know what happened in 2020. So, if the exact same people go to the polls and they vote the exact same way, we already know the result. If it's the same voting as last time, Biden's going to win. He's going to have about a little bit over 300 electoral votes, and Trump's going to have a little bit over 130. That was election 2020. So either different people have to show up at the polls, or people have to vote differently, and we're going to have to see. I don't know who's changing their mind. But I do think the bigger question is going to be, are all of Biden's voters going to turn out for him? Real talk. Trump has to take Georgia to win the election. And I think he will take Georgia. Biden has to take Pennsylvania to win the election. And I think he'll take Pennsylvania. And I think that at about 8 o'clock on election night, we're going to know who the president is, because Michigan is going to get called, or Michigan's going to be close enough that we know where it's going, if it's not coming down to the wire. Whoever wins Michigan probably wins the election. If Biden loses Michigan, it's right there. Trump has 270. It's over. If Biden wins Michigan, then that means he's probably going to win the other swing states, because they all tend to vote the same way. Do you think Trump got it? Leo De Leon. Do I think? All right. So that's a good question, Leo. Let's be specific, because this boils down to, do I think Trump has Michigan? And my answer right now is I don't know how Trump's going to win Michigan, because I think Biden is done. I think Biden set Michigan up a long time ago. I mean, remember, Biden stood on a picket line a couple of years ago with auto workers in Michigan. That was a brilliant photo op. I think he probably really cares about, their cause. But let's face it, he's the president of the United States. He's got more important things to do than stand on a picket line, unless that is a move that's going to win him re-election. I think a lot of auto workers sat there and said, you know what? This guy stood on a picket line and helped me to improve working conditions, so he's going to get my vote. And if he got enough of them, he's going to win Michigan. And if he wins Michigan, literally, I think whoever wins Michigan wins the election. And I think when Biden did that picket line maneuver, he secured Michigan. I could be wrong. I haven't seen what Trump is doing in Michigan to overcome what Biden did by standing on that picket line. Trump needs to, if I was Trump, Michigan would be my focus. Like, I got to hammer this place, hammer it hard. I'm going to hammer Michigan. I'm going to hammer Wisconsin, and then I'm going to work my way through those swing states. That would be me. But, he's got his political group, and they're strategizing. But I haven't seen what they're really doing to win Michigan yet. So, I think he's got an uphill battle. Not saying he can't win. I'm just saying he's got an uphill battle. Because let's face it, Biden won it last time, so Trump has to do extra to win it this time. Let me see. Biden, okay, this is weird. Biden, 1884. No, wait, 1921. Wait, you know the thing. See, I don't know if they're saying that Biden's forgetful. I think they're saying Biden's forgetful. I guess that's what they're saying, which would mean that they're voting Trump. That's just weird. Weird sense of humor. Um, Nah, I think we hate Biden's character along with the policies he's put forth. Interesting. Now, can anyone who knows what they're talking about say the same for Trump? Okay, this one is really interesting. If you think the answer is yes, go take another gander at his policies and the policies he wanted that never went through. Open your eyes. I think we hate Biden's character along with his policies. Okay. I've seen lots of people talk about hating Biden's policies. I don't know a lot of people who are complaining about Biden's character, so that's not true. Most people don't. I mean, Biden's got some stuff. He's got skeletons in his closet, sure. But people aren't really complaining about his character. But then to turn around and say nobody's complaining about Trump's character, now you're just stacking like inaccuracies on top of inaccuracies. Plenty of people complain about Trump's character. Let's face it, he's got some he's got Stormy Daniels going on right now. He's got several lawsuits. He's talked about how some workers don't get paid if he doesn't like the work they do. That rubs people the wrong way. He's made fun of people. There are things you can complain about in Trump's character. There are things you can complain about in Biden's character. But Trump's character is the bigger. That's his stumbling block. Biden's stumbling block is his policies. Some people don't like his policies. Trump is character. If there was a different Democrat, different Republican who didn't have some of the misbehavior, I think they'd win in a landslide. But that's me. They need to close the borders. See, that's the big weak. That's one of Biden's biggest Achilles heels is immigration. A lot of people don't like his position on immigration, and if he loses, that's going to be what costs him is immigration. Now, all of that said, I don't know how many people really care about immigration if they're making more money. If somebody's saying I'm making more money under Biden than I did under Trump, they're voting for Biden. They're not going to stop and say, but I don't like the immigration thing, so I'm voting. That's just not how it works. So we're going to see. I mean, you're right. The border is the big issue for Biden, but I don't know if that's going to tip the scales against him or not. Biden's character is worse than Trump's. You got to explain that if you're going to say that. Let me see. No, I just hate Biden. I love Trump. The points you make about Trump are okay. The points I make about Trump are Democratic rhetoric. He at no point called for insurrection. Protest, yes, but not insurrection. He's a self-made man, and as for sexual indiscretion, glass houses make glass houses. Okay, so that's weird. Now he's saying I'm making points about Trump, but I didn't make any points about Trump. I just said this is what people are saying their problems with Trump and Biden are. So it's not my point, it's voters and what they think. He at no point called for insurrection. I never said he did. He gets blamed for calling for insurrection. That's a fact. He gets blamed for it. But he never said, storm the Capitol. And then, the sexual indiscretions, glass houses. It's like, who are you talking about? I don't have sexual indiscretions. When I was married, I never cheated on my wife. So, that's just a weird. That's a very weird statement. Trump has my back as well as yours. Trump supporters they have more love for Trump than Biden supporters have love for Biden. You may just have helped me to get out and vote this year. Let me explain. I voted for Trump both times. I would never vote for Biden. Okay. I'm not happy at all about January the 6th. I would never vote for Biden. I'm not happy at all about January the 6th and was just going to stay home. However, you just put it into perspective for me. You voted for Trump both times, okay, which tells me that you would vote for Trump again. You would never vote for Biden, okay, so again, you're saying you're going to vote for Trump. But then you say you're not happy at all about January the 6th and you were just going to stay home, which tells me that you, rather than vote for Biden, you just weren't going to vote. But now you're not. So are you going to? I think they're saying that they're going to get up and go vote for Biden after voting for Trump twice. That's interesting. Let me see. One who cares. Greetings. Greetings, one who cares. What state are you guys voting from? I'm curious. I want to know who's voting from what states. I'm especially curious about the swing states. Let's see. The guy who still has horrible policies after serving 54 years in office, or mean tweets and great policy. They're voting for Trump. And someone said, "No offense, dude, you're pointing out the obvious." And I said, "And why is that a problem?" I'm like, okay. If it's obvious that people have certain feelings about Biden and Trump, why is that a problem? And they just said it's not. It's like, all right, thanks for sharing. Austin, oh, we got Missouri in the house. Okay. Austin, Texas. Trump. Interesting. Leo is voting for Trump in Austin, Texas. What's it like being a Trump supporter in Austin, Leo? I'm assuming Austin. Now, Texas is going to be Republican, but Austin is going to be a Democratic city in Texas when the votes come out. So I'm wondering what that's like. That might be a little weird. I'm curious to hear. Let me see. I don't hate Biden. I just think he's senile. Biden's not senile. That's not true. They're both capitalists for starters. Okay, what's wrong with being a capitalist? This is America. Let me see. We got a lot of comments on this one. There's nothing wrong with capitalism. Tongue tied. Let me take a little sip. Sometimes you gotta wet your whistle when you're talking a lot. There's nothing wrong with capitalism. Otherwise, you couldn't start your own business without capitalism. Well, you could, but I get what you're saying. Capitalism is rooted in exploitation, similar to feudalism. Oh man, we got weird. You most definitely can start a business under a socialist or communist economy. Yeah. To think otherwise is to misunderstand the definitions of these. That's a word salad. The goal in capitalism is to make money. Sure. We have a trade. I have a good or a service. You have cash. If you think my good or service is worth it, I give you the good or service. You give me the cash. We're good. That's the way it works. That's not exploitation. That's just business. You may be able to start. Okay, yeah. More than I don't want to keep going down this socialist, communist nonsense. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Biden 2024. Somebody just said, "Oof, Trump for king." Trump for king. That's a pretty extreme position. But I'll tell you what. All right, we're gonna do something that's fun because people gave all the reasons why they hate. We'll do Trump first. All the reasons why they said they hate Trump. And then we can talk about the reasons why they said they hate Biden. I did 2 videos because I just wanted to see if I do a Trump video and then if I do a Biden video, what gets more comments. So all the reasons why people said they hate Trump. He's the first president to not get rich after becoming president. Is that why you hate him? That's kind of a weird. So it's funny, and that's not. All right. If you look at people's income when they became president, yeah, you see people really do well after they're in office, which raises questions. The Clintons were off the chart in terms of how much better they did financially after Bill was in office than before. Obama did better. Everybody did better. Trump is the only one who didn't do better, but Trump had lawsuits. So it's not fair to say that he went into it assuming that he wasn't going to make any money. He just had to pay for some stuff that the other ones didn't have to pay for. So that's kind of a misleading comment. Then we get someone who says, I can't hate someone who's for the people. I can't hate someone who speaks truth. I can't hate someone I respect. And they got a response. Don the Con got another one here. What he thinks about the veterans, how he treats contractors in the past. Okay, so they're saying they hate Trump because they don't like what he said about veterans. They don't like how he treats contractors. Okay. I hate all politicians. Well, all right. Can't do much with that. 40 years of his nonsense since I had known him from the start. 40. Okay. 40. How did you know Trump 40 years ago? A lot of people, now the question was, why do you hate Donald Trump? But a lot of people came in and advocated for him. I do not hate Trump. I really hate that I missed yesterday. Okay, so they missed the interactive stream to talk about it. And then I said, hey, don't forget to subscribe so you get the notification. Oh yeah, so like and subscribe. And yeah, hit the notification bell so that if you want to get the updates as they come out, because I do a lot of this, then you will get them. I always forget to say that. Somebody said, don't tell me you think Biden won 2020. I was like, well, I do think he won. I think 2016 was legit. I think 2020 was legit. I think 2024 is going to be legit. But I know not everybody believes that. He led an insurrection. And somebody said, no, he didn't. Other people, no hate, no problem. I don't hate anyone. I will vote for the best choice. He's not my favorite personality. Okay. But I know better than to base sound decisions on what I feel. He has good policies and holds people accountable. He prioritizes what's best for the country. I also think the media is against him, which makes me skeptical. Why are they all out to get him? In my opinion, no one can have these foo-foo rights they are clamoring for if we are at war, crime-ridden, and broke. Good comments. And then someone came and asked them, do you want a democratic republic or a dictatorship? Another commenter said, choose Trump and you will never have to choose anything again. And then I came in with a comment because they were getting a little weird. I just said, look, media is biased. Neither conservative nor liberal networks post balanced stories. But there are more liberal networks, so I understand your position. It's entirely fair to say it feels like the media is all like the media is after Trump. I get when people say that. But you do have to balance it out. Like if I look at Fox News is pro-Trump. If I look at MSNBC, they're anti-Trump. I know that before I ever turn those channels on because that's what they do. They've got a narrative that they're trying to spin. So if you feel like the networks are attacking your candidate, then what you got to do is ask yourself why you're looking at certain networks. Because you can look at networks that are going to just sell your candidate to high heaven. You're choosing to or you're choosing not to. We got love Trump. Somebody responded, yeah, Trump to jail in 2024, no kings. I don't know why people get into this whole king monarch thing. Look, Trump's just going to be a president. He's not going to be a king if he wins. So it's like calm the rhetoric down. Love Donald Trump, best president ever. Okay. No, I don't. I'll be voting Trump. I do not hate him. Biden, you better be glad I did not know about the question. And I responded to him and said, hey, I have two videos. One asked about Trump, one asked about Biden. So if you want to comment on the Biden video, who is that person? Now I'm curious to know. Otis Mobley. Now I want to know if Otis Mobley commented on the Biden video since he said he wanted to. That's when I said, oh boy, the answers here are a joke. So, okay. Well, most of the answers here are people saying they don't hate Trump. So I'm not sure what he is concerned about. somebody was trolling me. You're thinking too hard. You got no hair left. I don't mind a good troll. If you got a good troll, okay. And I just said, hey, I'm thinner on top, but my sides are still coming in strong. I can acknowledge that, I'm a little thinner on top now. You get a little older, hey, life hits you. That doesn't mean you lay over, that doesn't mean you give up. And I'm not doing Rogaine. I do not have a problem with Donald Trump, but then again, I don't live in the U.S. Okay, I'm not an American, but I still get all the American junk on YouTube. Well, I am an American, and I am going to vote. If you don't like American content, just watch other content. You can change your algorithm pretty easily by just clicking on different stuff. Trump 2024. Someone responded, not a good choice, pay attention. Another one said, not a difficult choice between Trump and Biden. You either want freedom or socialism. Biden is just a front man for the socialist communists. I'm like, once you start going down that socialist communist rabbit hole, you lose people. Like, just keep it factual. If you have to ask, you're wasting our time. I responded to that, like, how so? Nobody's forcing you to watch the clip or to respond. Plenty of people are responding, and they've got plenty to say, so this is not a waste of time. And someone said, no, my question is, are you better off now that we can compare them? That's a personal question for everybody. Personally, is everybody better off under Biden or under Trump? And that's what's going to determine who they vote for. I care for this country, and he will help the country. And Trump will help the country, is what they're saying. Another person said, hey, can you answer them? Like, you want my answers? Come, got to watch the live stream. Honestly, I had no issues with Trump. Look, I'll cut the nonsense out. I don't care about my boss's personality or 30 years ago what he said. Is my check on time? Yes. Okay. And for the most part, 2016 to 2019 were solid years for me. And if you can point to a country that got COVID right, first I'll call you a liar, then I'll ignore everything else you say. Now, that I get. Now, it's still funny. You ask people what they hate about Trump, and Trump supporters come in to sell him, but Biden supporters don't really come in to support him that way. Trump supporters are very passionate with their support. Now, the first thing this guy said is interesting. I don't care about my boss's personality or what happened 30 years ago. I get that. There's this thing, like, if you know Eddie Murphy and Raw, if you've ever seen Raw was like over 30 years ago. Eddie Murphy did this stand-up special called Raw. And by today's standards, that thing was like, you couldn't produce that show today. But you could produce it 30 years ago because the times were different. Now, fast forward to today, and you got like Dave Chappelle did The Closer. I think it was The Closer. And he got a lot of heat for that series. If you compare The Closer to Raw, The Closer is almost PG compared to what was happening in Raw. But the times are different, so it's received differently. So I do understand this whole notion of what somebody said 30 years ago. You can't judge that by today's standards. The times are too different. Just subscribe. Thank you, one who cares. Okay, now they're saying that 2016 to 2019, the Trump years were good for them. And they're also saying, hey, who got COVID right? Now that's an entirely valid point. COVID was not something that just hit America. So this, like if you're saying Trump got COVID wrong, you're like, okay, you're right. COVID could have been handled better, but everybody got COVID wrong. So you can't just hang that on one person. Globally, it took too long to recognize that was a serious threat. Globally, it took too long for people to figure out how serious it was and to start trying to lock things down. And then globally, it took us a long time to recognize when we'd kind of gotten past the worst of it and to kind of restart the nation. So there were a lot of missteps in that that hopefully we learn from as we build another playbook for what to do if we ever get hit by that again. I despise him for his attempted insurrection, tax evasion, and when he said Just grab them by dot dot and ellipse. Now one commenter said, "Hey, all reasons to like him," and another said, "All lies, he didn't." Um, all lies. Okay, saying he attempted an insurrection, that's a lie. He didn't attempt that. Tax evasion, well, I wouldn't say he evaded taxes. He just used loopholes. But now he did say just grab them. I mean, that's not a lie. He said that. So what do you mean all of that's lies? So that's there's video evidence. Let me see. Why do you hate Trump? He talks too much. He should have fired Dr. Fauci. He made some poor decisions on firearms. He trusted some of the wrong people. This got a lot of comments. Bro, just listening to opinions just to hate him. Laughing at it. LOL. Imagine the mind you have to hate someone you don't know that hasn't done anything on that list that can be considered remotely evil. Okay, whether or not the things on the list are evil or not is irrelevant. Question was, why do you hate the guy? I hate him because he did this stuff. So I get that. He did start the ATF on a rampage they're on because of bump stocks. Hopefully that gets settled soon. Okay. You sound 12. Okay. Trolling. Let me see. Did I say hate? Do you know that you don't have to dislike or hate someone because of a critique? Did I say he was evil? Why are you projecting? And do you have comprehensive skills or just create narratives in your head? So the original poster is saying, look, you're misquoting me. I didn't say I hate him. I didn't say he was evil. Question though was, basically, what are your problems with this candidate? And I listed them. Oh, it looks like somebody deleted comments because I can see that this poster said okay and exactly, but I don't know what they're saying that to. So I'm assuming that the person they were battling with felt like they were losing the argument and deleted their comments. Okay. So isn't that the one major thing the president has to do? Trump said he would find the best people for the jobs. And the one thing everybody said about Trump after they left was how bad a president Trump was. Okay. If he gets a second term, I believe he will choose a better staff. He trusted people that chose his staff for him, which didn't work well for him. Just subscribe. Oh, what are your thoughts on the border? This is from Sigma, Ohio, Rizzi Gyat. Okay. If I butchered your name, help me out. What are my thoughts on the border? Okay, so let's do it this way. Immigration. First thing we have to do is we have to talk about, we can't lump all the immigration together. There's legal immigration and there's illegal immigration. Trump has a better PR group than Biden. So right now, everybody's looking at all immigration like it's illegal immigration, and that's not true. Like half of the immigration in the United States is legal. I don't think we need to shut that down. Illegal immigration, it's tricky. Here's the problem that we're facing. We're letting people in. Under Biden, we're letting them in. But I understand what he's trying to do. There are a couple of things that he's using immigration to do. Number one is Social Security. Illegal immigrants come in and they go to work and they're paying taxes on their income, and that money is helping to put dollars into Social Security, but they don't get dollars back out because they're illegal immigrants. So some of that is trying to fund Social Security, which, by the way, is scheduled to run out in like 20 years. Now, there's no reason to panic because, down the road we can add more funds to it to extend it. But right now we only have like a 20-year lead time on Social Security. So doing something to add some times, like, I get it. I also understand that we need bodies. We have a lack of people who are interested in some of the low-skilled, low-paying jobs in America that need to get done. And that's why I think we're letting all these illegal immigrants in. I completely understand. I mean, I wish that we found a way to make it work. I don't like the way it works now. Totally shutting off the border, I don't think so. I think that solves one problem but creates others because we still need people in these minimum wage jobs that most Americans don't want to work. Um, and if we don't have a solution within the states, then the immigration coming in, it helps. We need to clean it up because the biggest problem people have with immigration is illegal immigration that leads to crime. If somebody comes in and they're an illegal immigrant and they're going to work on a farm, milking cows and tilling the soil, I don't care. I don't care about that. I care about the people who come in and are selling drugs and are shooting people. I don't want that. Um, I also understand the concern people have because you see immigrants come in, illegal immigrants, and they're getting room and board. And you got taxpayers who are saying, wait a minute, my tax dollars are going to room and board for them when I'm struggling to put food on the table for my family. Like I completely understand that part. Some of the challenges, it kind of goes to this bigger issue. This is part of the Biden problem. Biden wants everybody to embrace progress, and not everybody wants to. Not everybody wants to get an associate's degree in college and get a job at a big tech company or whatever. Some people just want to work regular jobs. They want to work at the auto plant. They want to work at the mill. They want to work at the warehouse, and they want to be able to feed their family. The Biden approach doesn't really help them understand how they can do that. And kind of what he's saying is, you know what, if you guys don't want these low end jobs, I'll bring in people who will. I don't think it's a coincidence that Roe v. Wade is being overturned at a time where we're kind of saying we need more people in America. We need more employees. That's just the fact. Um, so yeah, so that's a long-winded. I wish that they got more control over the borders, but I understand why they're being so open about it right now because they care more about how many employees we can bring in than the criminal element that might also be coming in with them. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I understand it. So I kind of, I trust that the president knows, the issue more broadly than me, and he can kind of look at the trade-offs and make a good decision. Personally, I don't have a problem with us closing the borders. I don't have a problem with us keeping the borders open. I do have a problem with us not monitoring it better than we do. Let me see. Another comment from Sigma. Me and my family were having this argument earlier. Do you think the world will just fall apart if a woman was president and everybody would overreact because it was a woman as president? No, I don't. Let's face it. Hillary could have been president, but Hillary. This is my take. Hillary Clinton could have been president, but Hillary Clinton was lazy. I think that Hillary felt that when she was going up against Trump, she wasn't going to have to fight that hard. She didn't know that Trump was going to fight as hard as he did. And she didn't take advantage of really basic stuff that she could have done. I mean, when Trump was talking about, grab them by the panties, let's say, and women were marching, Hillary could have been leading those charges. She could have been at the front of those picket lines. She could have really picketed and campaigned hard. And I think that she could have gotten a lot of support and won the election. I think that she could have handled some, she had that, there was that one issue with the Navy SEALs where it looks like her carelessness cost some American soldiers their lives, and she didn't really handle that well. There were things that she could have done to win, and I don't think that she lost because she was a woman. I think that she lost because she didn't take her candidate seriously, and he came back and he kicked her butt. I remember election night 2016. I didn't think Donald Trump had a chance to win 2016. If you looked at all the news was basically saying Hillary had already won. But when I was watching the states starting to get called and I was watching the results, I remember when Florida went to Trump, and I thought, wait a minute. I thought for sure Hillary was going to take Florida, because if she took Florida, she was going to win the election. And I thought this means it's going to actually be a fight all night. But then Hillary kept losing, typically blue states, and I thought, well, shoot, that's it. I mean, let's also think. Here's a dark thing to think about, but it's true. All right. Let's say Biden wins. If Biden wins and he doesn't survive all 4 years, we're going to have a woman president. We will have our first woman president. Kamala Harris will be president. If Biden wins and he God forbid he passes away before his term is over, we're going to have a woman president. I don't think that America is going to have a problem with a woman president. I do think that America would have a problem with someone positioning them, if their platform is "I'm a woman, vote for me." Yeah, they're going to lose. But if their platform is, these are the policies that I've got in place, this is what I'm doing for America, then yeah, I think a woman can win. I don't think we care about that anymore. Not enough to keep a woman out. There'll be some people who do, but not many. So let me see. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, so that's it. I think we will have a woman president in the next 30 years for sure. Maybe in the next election, not 2020, for 2028, we might have a woman president in 2028. Who knows? I wouldn't be surprised by that. Let me see. So where were we? That was a good question. Let me see. People said, nope, I love Trump. He loves all people. Let me see. I love Trump. And I'm a gay Latino raised Democrat who doesn't inform himself about politics from the news. So don't pull that anti-gay racism. Okay. This one, I remember this part. I don't understand people like this. Okay, so they love Trump. Okay. Then they feel the need to tell me they are a gay Latino Democrat, which is confusing, because if you're a Democrat, why do you love Trump? Shouldn't you say you're a Republican? I don't understand that. Why do you need to tell me your sexual orientation? I don't understand that. But then they also get mad and say, "Hey, don't discriminate against me." Like, buddy, you got a lot going on here, and I didn't ask for any of it. I'm not discriminating. It's just a weird comment that you get from somebody like that. Like, I just want to know what you think about these candidates. I didn't need to know all the other stuff. I won't waste your time. I love Trump. I'm voting for Trump. Okay. Someone said they don't live in the U.S. Okay. Said Trump's a traitor. Traitor, I guess is what they meant. Liar, thief, and a con. No, he is the supreme leader, one who will see this country straight. I'm black, and I know he and his heirs should and will be king of this great land. See, it started off, okay. Once you go down that king route, you lose it. If you're saying you think Trump's going to set the country straight, okay. If you're saying you're black and you're voting for Trump, okay. When you start calling him the king and the ruler, then it's just like, now you sound like a weirdo. Just, kind of tone down the rhetoric a bit. I hate him because he's beautiful, and I love him because he's beautiful. All right. Thank you for your comment. CNN told me he's bad, and I tend to think how they tell me to. Yeah, CNN has an agenda. Trump 2024. He's good on politics, but he isn't the greatest. He's like a 9 out of 10. And a million times better than Sleepy Joe. Okay, some people just hate Sleepy Joe. Trump's policies are what we need. Okay, somebody hated Biden, and then somebody said no. So those were why they hated Trump. But of course, what we got to do. We also have to look at, why do you hate Joe Biden? And let me see. Bochian 890. Tell me if I butchered your name there. Margaret Thatcher in England was quite the woman. Prime Minister nicknamed the Iron Lady. And she kicked an Argentinian dictator's butt in the 1980s. Okay. Connect that to Biden and Trump for me. Are you talking about their strength in saying Biden and Trump can demonstrate similar levels of strength, or are you going down a different path? I'm not sure what that connection is. Yeah, I gotta pull up. Why do you hate Joe Biden? Everybody want to know why people said they hate Joe Biden? Let me see. First, and remember, when I asked people why they hate Trump, what I got more than anything was people coming in and saying, whoa, 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 I don't hate Trump. I love Trump. Voting for him 2024. Let's see what people say when I ask them why they hate Biden. Okay. Because he hates me. Okay. Pipeline canceled, inflation, vax mandate, Ukraine first, America last, wide open border. See, this is the stuff I understand why they're saying they don't like Biden. Now, Biden hates me. Okay, that's exaggeration. He did cancel the pipeline. That's jobs, so I get it. But I wonder if this person was actually going to benefit from one of those jobs. I mean, personally, I'm not going to go work on a pipeline. If it's open or closed, doesn't impact me personally. But if I had a job or if I was banking on one of those jobs and somebody took it away from me, I wouldn't vote for him. I get that. It's just, does it impact you personally? Inflation, little known, the economy has improved under both Trump and Biden. So, like, broadly speaking, both of them have done a very good job with the economy. It's just, did they help you personally? Which is a different question. Vax mandate, I get. Ukraine first, America last. I understand people not wanting to spend money on Ukraine. There have been who was Mitch McConnell? Was it Mitch McConnell? It wasn't Mitch McConnell. I got to remember who it was. Candidate actually came in. A former presidential candidate came in and said that spending money on the Ukraine was a waste of money. He was basically saying that Ukraine can't win the war. But he was also saying that America had made a commitment to provide Ukraine with a certain amount of money. And if we didn't, then that would impact our credibility on a world stage. So it was kind of funny. Sort of like, somebody's going to die tomorrow, but you owe them $10. It's like, are you the kind of person who's going to hold the $10, kind of cheat, or are you going to pay up the debt that you owe? Like, it felt like he was saying that we're kind of in that situation. Let me see. He had consistently not accomplished anything relevant, and in doing so had the audacity to acknowledge that he had done something. The economy is bad, but maintains that it's great. His dealings with the immigration issue is not great, as we have endured many American citizens dying. One group even shot at police in New York and was set free. College students murdered and couldn't even acknowledge the incident. If you really believe the president is doing this country a service, you are part of the problem. Okay. Let me see. He has consistently accomplished. Okay. He consistently hasn't accomplished anything. Okay. That's not true. Economy is bad is not true. The economy has continued to improve. Now, immigration, that's a problem. I mean, that's Joe's biggest Achilles heel. People do not like what he's doing with immigration. That could cost him the election. Americans are done. Well, yeah, okay. Criminals have come in because of these open doors. Criminals have done criminal things. People are dying. There are problems associated with the immigration. Joe needs to get a handle on that. But honestly, he honestly needs to do better PR. I don't think Joe Biden's PR group is very good, because it's easy to understand how to kind of reframe some of these conversations by just giving people a clearer picture of what's going on. So, Trump's PR group, great. Joe's PR group, kind of trashy. Okay, they're saying somebody got shot in New York and was set free. I don't know who that is. That would surprise me. I don't believe that unless I see that. Um, College student. Okay, some of this. The President of the United States does not have time to go through all the teeny tiny issues of the day across the world. I don't expect the president to know about every incident of crime that's happening in America. That just takes too much time. He's got people for that. I do expect support and policies to help set things right. If you're having that conversation, okay. But yeah, I mean, the nitty gritty, like, no, the CEO of a company isn't on the factory line putting parts on, machines. They don't have time. They got people for that. Same thing with the presidency. All the above, but mostly his racism and his lies. Okay, so they're saying Biden's racism and lies are why they hate him. And then they said the better question is, why am I defending him? And I responded to that and just said, where do you see me defending him? They didn't respond back. I thought that was weird. Like, I just ask a question, and people take it into some weird places. He makes our country look bad by appearing senile and weak. During his term, inflation has skyrocketed. He's more interested in helping Israel and Ukraine than he is in helping America. I understand that sentiment. Biden's not senile. That's just silly. Look at the State of the Union that he delivered. You can't be senile and deliver that. But if people are talking about their personal financial position getting worse, okay, I get it. If people are talking about it feeling like Biden's more focused on helping other countries than Americans, I get that too. I understand why people are anti-Biden when that's their feeling. But they need to understand that that's not the way. Half of America kind of feels that way. Half of America doesn't. Let's see, 53 years of nothing. Okay. Why do you hate Obama? What's wrong with Obama? A lot of people say he was a bad president. Wait, who are we talking about? Okay, so you're basically saying that Biden is Obama's shill. He's a puppet. Okay. So you didn't like Obama, so you don't like Biden because Biden is 4 more years of Obama. I understand the thinking. He sold this country out. That's not specific. I would need to understand that. I'm assuming they're talking about the wars. Could be talking about immigration. All you have to do is look at your bank account, Einstein. See, that's a silly comment. This person's bank account is worse under Biden than Trump. Not everybody's bank account went the same way. So, yeah, and somebody commented trolling. You mean my 401k that's at a record high? It's kind of funny. And of course, Junior, you have too much money and you have to burn it smoking cigars. Okay. If you need to ask, you're in a coma. Like Trump, at least Trump can speak coherently without a teleprompter. Okay, let me see, Bochian. But when the USA has its fingers in every part of the world, it kind of had a responsibility to help others. See, this is the foreign policy thing. We do kind of police the world. And I do think it's a very fair question if somebody wants to ask, should we be policing the world? Like, how much money do we spend supporting other countries and other initiatives? And what could we do if we spent that money on America? That I get. And I'll admit, I saw when Trump started kind of pulling back on things, had a little blip. Hopefully I didn't lose people. As Biden supported more people, I'll say things didn't really seem to fall apart either. I mean, we send, tens of billions of dollars to Ukraine. Okay. I don't know that that's affecting my pocketbook personally. But at the same time, I don't like to see Americans struggling when we're funding everything else under the sun. Will things change? Would things be different under Trump? For the homeless, I don't know. For veterans, yes. For the homeless, I don't know. But that's a fair question. Why are we spending so much outside of the United States when there are problems inside the United States? Let me see. He called Republicans a threat to America. Okay. They're talking about Biden and why they hate him. Who led an insurrection to the Capitol? What values does Trump stand for? Now, a small number of people stormed the Capitol. You can't say that all Republicans did that. You can't say that Trump asked them to do that. But yes, there were Republicans who went into the Capitol. Okay, because he said, I ain't black if I don't vote for him. Now, that's legit. I didn't like when Biden said that. I was offended by that comment. I'm not going to I don't let rhetoric decide who I vote for or against. But I do understand, like, people saying, hey, you lost, somebody says, you lost my vote because you said that. All right. He said it. He's got to own it. Protect the border. He's corrupt. Okay. That's why they don't like Biden. Hate Biden. Look at the comments praising Biden. It's clear that none of you graduated middle school. Even asking that question puts you in that group. Just by looking at you, I could have guessed who you vote for. Okay, so because I'm black, you're saying I vote for Biden. So you're assuming every black person votes for Biden. Now that's silly. There are streamers who are strong conservative supporters and black. So to say that anytime you see a black person, they vote for Biden is silly. I mean, if you look at what's going on in YouTube, there are a lot of black people who are making arguments for Biden or making arguments for Trump. You just have to, I don't know. That's just like a silly comment. Let me see. To be honest, Biden has been pretty decent in avoiding World War III, considering the state of the world. See, I understand. I mean, I would agree. I think that, the Ukraine war is a managed war. There's no way that we're sending all this money and no soldiers unless somebody had a conversation behind the scenes and sort of said, look, these are the rules of how this thing can escalate. Now, Gaza is interesting because Gaza seems to keep escalating. That's the one to keep my eyes on. I don't think either is going to escalate to the point where we're talking about World War III. Honestly, in this day and age, I don't know how we can have a world war at this point because of the threat of nuclear annihilation. At some point, if it comes to the point where some country feels bold enough to attack and risk a world war, that's a country that's got to be willing to drop a nuke. Otherwise, you can't, why would you risk World War III unless you're willing to go that far? You have to have some serious issue, like a religious kind of thing where you want the Holy Land and you will take it or die. It's got to be something drastic like that for World War III to happen. Just to fight over resources, no, that will eventually get negotiated down to nothing. May take a while, but yeah. Where were we with Desert Storm? With if we were going to have World War III, that was when it was going to happen, and it didn't. So I don't really see us ever having another world war, just because I don't think that there's any coming back from a world war if we have another one. Let me see. You shouldn't have asked. His policies and decisions have been very detrimental to our country. I should give more detail. He gets fed answers through his seldom used earpiece. Oh, I gotta. If you like the content, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. So when I drop new things, you will get the info and you can react. I don't remember to say that enough. Let me see. Professional politician. For how long? Okay, so you need to explain more. Okay, he's a professional politician. But why do you hate him for that? A lot of people are professional politicians. Can't remember his own name. Okay. War, incompetence, hating me, calling me deplorable, division, lies, career politician, putting non-citizens before citizens, okay? Inflation, values. Got it. Good question. Immigration. Immigration, that's Biden's Achilles heel. Questionable dealings with China under his son's name, okay? But I have a question for you. What has Biden done for America? Well, that's not the question I'm asking. You don't ask a question and then have people just start firing their questions. Like, no, answer what I asked you first. And then well, technically they did. But then you come back and you can kind of talk about other things. Let me see. I can't afford food under Biden. That's pretty extreme. If he wins again, if he wins again, I'm participating in January the 6th, part 2. Plus, he said I'm not black if I don't vote for him. They don't have their face in their profile. Okay. Well, let's just say that if another January the 6th happens, I'll have to forward this comment along just to say, look, I'm not going to be guilty of harboring a criminal who said that they might commit a crime. I don't take that person seriously, but that's kind of a silly thing to say to post on a stream. Good point. Thank you, Bochin. Let me see. Border security. Yep, that always pops. Afghanistan, it began here. We now look foolish in the world's eyes. Okay. Because he spent his entire career pandering. He voted against his dead wife right after she died. He never put forth a real bill. He's the reason we should have limits on office. Okay, here's the funny thing about a career politician. Love them or hate them, what you have to acknowledge is they are a career politician. They've managed to spend their life in politics. You have to get elected into those roles. A lot of times the politician's job is to get reelected. So if they keep getting reelected, they're doing something right. I might not understand it. You might not understand it. They understand what it takes to get reelected and they keep doing it. Kudos to people for understanding that. Some of the things that they put forth, well, honestly, I think a lot of times politicians are just voting for what their constituents want. If I live in a state where I know they care about their guns, I'm going to make sure that I vote for them to keep their guns, and I'm going to keep getting reelected. And people may call me a knucklehead, but you know what? I know what my constituents want, and I do that. I don't fault politicians for operating that way. From Bochin, didn't Biden do the $1 trillion infrastructure bill? I don't know what happened to it, but yeah. Wow, was it I didn't know it was $1 trillion. That's $1 trillion? That is massive, massive money. Now, we need infrastructure. Good Lord. We just had a couple of bridges collapse. It seems like every couple of years, a bridge collapses. Better connectivity. There's a lot. Yeah, infrastructure, improving our infrastructure, that is important. We are living in a technological age, and our infrastructure in some areas is way behind. Could be worse, but, well, I'll put it like this. Go to like China or Japan. Look at their infrastructure. That stuff is best in class. You walk around, you're like, good Lord, look how easy it is. Take out my phone, I can buy stuff, I can scan stuff, I can do stuff that's not, I haven't seen that stuff available anywhere else. And it doesn't feel like we should be behind. I mean, why should we be behind anybody on tech? Let me see. Millions from China, open borders. To answer this question, I would need a roll of toilet paper, an elite typewriter, and enough time to make a 4-column list single-spaced. So they hate a lot of things about Biden, but they didn't say what any of them are. I asked him to send me my stimulus check. They see some people took out property because it was black people's land. He's trying to give our land to people who stole it from my brother. I think they're dealing with something personal. And they're angry at Biden because whatever this personal thing is, oh, They want their stimulus check to help them pay for some personal problem they have. And since they don't have their stimulus check, which would solve the problem, they're mad at Biden. Okay, I kind of understand the thinking, but it's a little weird. I don't know. That's a bit of a stretch. Let me see. 50 years in politics, but did nothing but get rich and want to stay in power till he's 85. Okay, stay in power. I mean, he's president. If he's president, that's 4 years. There's no, saying he wants to stay in power. Of course, he wants to be president. That's why he's running. He wants to win the election. That's no surprise. I think they're overselling this whole stay in power thing. Look at our country. If you don't see it, I can't help. I hate Joe Biden. Well, okay. Some people do, some people don't. He's done nothing. That's the problem. As corrupt as they come, lifelong politics, and he is filthy rich. So, dumb question, honestly. Saying he's done nothing, he's done stuff. He just might not have done stuff you like. As corrupt as they come, debatable, okay. Lifelong politician, yeah. The one thing that's really silly for them to say, though, is filthy rich. And let's face it, who's richer, Joe Biden or Donald Trump? Donald Trump is a lot richer than Joe Biden. So if you're voting for Trump, okay. But if you're saying that you hate Biden because he's rich, it's like, well, that doesn't make sense. If you hate him because he's rich, how do you reconcile Trump, who's richer? Like, explain that to me. I don't get that. That doesn't make sense. Created 13 Gold Star families that could have been avoided. That's a tricky one. Yes, Biden rushed us he rushed us out of the Middle East. And there was an incident and 13 people died. And if we weren't so haphazard in how if you read up on that bombing, it's kind of crazy because hundreds of people died. That had to be a crazy bomb. I can't imagine what they used. Like hundreds of people died in that explosion. And there were 13 soldiers who died. And if we weren't so haphazard in how we were rushing out, you could argue that those 13 people wouldn't have died. But that would mean that it took us longer to come out. So those 13 wouldn't have died, but other U.S. soldiers would have died because we would have still been there. So you kind of have to say, war is hell. I don't want to see American soldiers dying at all. But on the strictest sense of the word, if I had to say you can have 13 soldiers die or you can have 1,300 soldiers die, which do you choose? Well, I'm going to choose 13. I don't want either scenario, but 13 is way better than 1,300. 13 is better than 14. You can have 13 or 14 die. Give me 13. That's lower number. That's just how it is. He is that rare combination of corrupt and inept. Okay? He's not inept. You're not going to become president being inept. That's just not true. Because he's arming Netanyahu's genocide. Okay. Sniffer in chief. Now, Hunter Biden's had the drug stuff. I don't know if Biden's had issue. Has he ever been accused of using drugs? I don't know if Biden has. Hunter, that's a different story, but that's the kid. Kids, sometimes your kids are screw up. Beijing Biden, okay? Afghanistan withdrawal. Honestly, he led to more instability in the region. Also gave billions worth of military equipment to our adversaries. Southern border, it's a complete disaster after the end of Title 42. Our economy is sad to even think about. Inflation, stock market, etc. Okay. Most of the stuff they're laying out, I get. Withdrawing quickly, leaving equipment, yeah. Arming enemies, okay, I understand all of that. Southern border, yeah, that's a disaster. Biden's got to own that. That is his Achilles heel. Now the economy piece, people always say the economy, and that's just not true. Trump improved the economy. Biden improved the economy. Those are facts. You can look that up. Might not have improved your individual situation, but the economy has gotten better under both presidents. So people need to acknowledge that. Also, I don't see immigration as being at all a bad thing. Immigration is partly what made America. See. Okay, let me see your other comment first, and then I'll come back. I saw a meme about how recently America won an international math competition against China, but the American but the American team was all Asians. But I say that is America's superpower. See, yeah, we are a nation of immigrants. I agree. The problem, honestly, the problem with immigration for Biden is it's more of a PR issue than anything. His team is terrible at PR. If Biden explained what I think he's doing with immigration, I think the attitude around it would be entirely different. First thing I would do on immigration, if I was there, is I would say, look, half of the immigration into the United States is legal immigration. So let's be clear. When we're talking immigration, a lot of it's legal, some of it's illegal. Now, of the part that's illegal, most of that is people who are going into these jobs in these areas. I mean, it's not even cross country. It's like, okay, along southern border and in like Chicago, places where you need a lot of people who are working basically for minimum wage and difficult jobs, immigration funnels into that. So you start chopping it up, and then you say, now what we have to do is focus on this criminal element, because that's the piece that is the problem. Literally, I don't think anybody's looking to go start working on a farm. If somebody who's coming in as an immigrant wants to go work on the farm, I think most people don't care because that's not a job they want. What people care about is a criminal element coming in. You know, if you see somebody getting shot on the news and they got shot by an illegal immigrant, that's when it ticks you off personally. You're like, no, this is what I don't want. And Biden just hasn't done a good job of managing that. That's on him. He needs better PR. But I doubt he's going to do it because, why would he change at this point? Let me see. I hate everything he's done and is doing and what he stands for. Okay, well, that's pretty complete. Somebody responded, what does Trump stand for? I hate Joe Biden. I hate Joe Biden because of Fox News. That's funny. He ruined my life savings. I don't know if Biden ruined anybody's life savings. Maybe he did. Maybe that person ruined their own life savings. It's hard for me to believe that a president did that, unless a president started a recession. That hasn't happened since George W. Bush Jr. Well, I won't say he started it. I won't say he started it. We had a recession under George W. Bush Jr. That was the last official recession. Where have you people been? The country's economy is doing great. Unemployment is low, and the infrastructure is getting updated. And somebody said your delusions are adorable in response to that. Let me see. The economy is doing great. What they said is true. But the economy doesn't matter to a person. To a person, their finances matter. So you can't really use the economy to justify a candidate. It's did I make more money or not? I'll wait for the question about Kevin Costello. I'll wait for the question about Diaper Don. And that's where I said, hey, here's the link. I did a Biden and I did a Trump. So if you want to know if you want to comment on Don, I think this is the same guy. I'd have to go back and look. So he came into my Biden video and said, where's the Trump video? Then he came to my Trump video and said, where's the Biden video? Okay, so he's doing some trolling. Good trolling, dude. Very good trolling. Let me see. The border, okay. Look where we have come in the last 4 years. It's been horrible. Everything went out of control. Gas, food. People can't even make it. With Trump, I was living good, so that's a no-brainer. Okay, their situation's gotten pretty desperate, it sounds like, under Biden, so they're going to vote Trump. Makes sense. But the cost of living has increased worldwide, so explain that, please. Nobody cares. I don't care if everybody else is struggling. What I care about is, can I put food on my table for my family? That's how people think. Like, I can put food on my table. We're in a recession, don't care. I can put food on my table. The economy's booming, but I lost my job, don't care. I lost my job, my financial situation got worse. That's what people care about. No hate, but how old will he be in 4 years? And if he would survive those years. Now that's a tricky one, but it's true. Biden's 81. If somebody's saying they're concerned about whether he's going to make it to 85, I understand that. But again, Trump's not a spring chicken. Trump's 77. So, we're talking about a 77 and an 81-year-old and where they will be. Who's to say? But it's a fair question because that gets into vice presidents. If Biden passed away, Kamala Harris becomes president. Trump hasn't named his vice president yet, so that's going to be a very interesting conversation when he finally names his VP. We'll have to take a look at who they are and how confident we feel in them. Bochin, sorry for my poor spelling. Don't worry about it. You wouldn't believe some of the spelling I try to work through when I'm reading all the comments. I misspell stuff all the time. Let me see. The last time this is from Valiant Thor. Okay. The last time Democrats hated a political opponent this much, it was Abraham Lincoln. Let that sink in. Okay, that's an interesting. I guess let me ask you. Let me see. The last time the Democrats hated a political opponent that much, it was Abraham Lincoln. Okay, let me think about that, Valiant Thor. So we're going over. Yeah, nobody hated. Okay. Nobody hated Reagan. I think. Okay. I don't know how much. I don't know if we can. I can't confirm the Abraham Lincoln part. But yeah, I do think that Trump is the most hated candidate I've seen in my lifetime. I agree with that part. I don't know anyone who's been, well, let me say who's as divisive as Trump. He's got people who love him. To your point, the Democrats hate him. Yeah, I don't know that they've hated anyone else as much as they've hated him. Let me see. It looks like I got a comment that got cut off. At this juncture, my skepticism extends to both Republicans and the majority of Democrats. It appears akin to a WWE wrestling spectacle. Yep. And we're going to have Fight Night in November, where public clashes mask a clandestine camaraderie, orchestrating covert agreements and meticulously choreographed scenarios behind the political curtain. In other words, it's all fake. Okay. Didn't the Republicans and Democrats kind of switch political spectrum in the last 40 years? So I wouldn't say 40. I think it's a little bit longer than that. But yeah, like historically, I guess it depends on how far you go back. The Republicans represented what we would today call more liberal views. The Democrats represented what we would call more conservative views. It is, I actually need to look into that. When did it switch? Because it did switch. I'm going to look into that. I got to do some research because I am curious to understand it. That keeps coming up, and I need a timeline of events. So, all right, well, we'll follow up. I'll do the work. I'll do the legwork there. Look for that. Maybe I'll do a video in the next couple of days if that's got an interesting story to it. Let me see. It looks to me like, okay, there are lots of reasons in the comments. Yes, there are. Biden is doing a great job. Amazing. 32% approval rating, but yeah, he's done an amazing job. LOL. I don't trust polls. I did a video about this. You can rig a poll. You can poll. If I want to show that Biden is doing a great job, I'll poll in places that are pro-Biden. If I want to show that he's doing a horrible job, I'll poll in places that are pro-Trump. And I will get the result I want. It's very easy to finagle a poll and get what you want out of it. You have to really look at the source and say, is this a reputable source or is this some company I've never heard of? In which case, it's probably rigged. So Not much weight given to the polls. Let me see. I do not hate Biden. He is what we need. Trump is the one I hate. Well, hate is a strong word. I don't use hate. Okay, so they don't like Trump. My bank account is doing just fine. I own my home, own my car, I own my motorcycle. Okay. I won't vote for a con man loser with 91 felony count indictments. By the way, the judge said Fannie Willis's personal relationship is not a conflict of interest. It just looks bad. Okay, well, we went into a lot of other areas. Now, your personal situation is better financially, so you're voting for Biden. Get that. Hate Trump because of his character. Okay, that's pretty consistent. The whole Fannie Willis thing, well, that comment didn't age well. Didn't Fannie Willis's assistant recuse himself? So, okay, is what it is, but I get his point. He's voting for Biden. Let me see. What else do we have here? Because MAGA folks are independent thinkers, and Fox and Newsmax told them, okay, they're voting Biden. Killed the oil inflation, okay. Biden is fine. He's done a great job. I'd take Biden 100 times over. Someone said, you will always be a victim. And then they said, that's their thing, though. All these people do is play victim. It's okay that they're going down in flames. See, the funny thing is, you will have people who will say, look, my finances are better under Trump. Why are you asking the question? Then you'll have other people say, my finances are better under Biden. Why are you asking the question? And they're both valid points. Like, who's better for you in the economy? He did more for our country than the majority of past presidents. Ooh, I don't know if I would say that. Okay, well, we're asking, why do you hate Biden? And they're saying he's done more for the country than the majority of past presidents. Biden has improved the economy. Now you're saying more than the majority of past presidents. I don't know that I would say that. You can go back to, good grief, you can go to Reagan's economy. You can go to Clinton's economy. You can look at Bush dealing with wars. You can look at 9/11 and the response. There's a lot of stuff that people have done. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how you say that Biden has done more than the majority of past presidents. Yeah, I don't agree with that. Not to say he's been a bad president, but I don't agree with that. And let me see the last comment. Best figure it out. Figure out what he's done. Man, years of it. Figure it out. Look it up. So I'm asking why you hate him, and you're saying, well, look at what he's done over the last few years. Not specific. You got to be more specific. But let me see. What do we have here? Didn't the Republicans and the Democrats kind of switch political? Let me see. Switch. I'll have them blanks voting Democrat for the next 200 years. Lyndon B. Johnson, 1963. Johnson, that was interesting. Biden's like that grandfather who, let me see. Biden's like that grandfather who peacefully passes away, slobbering in his sleep. But the passengers in the car die yelling and screaming. He's like that, okay. So yeah, that's kind of the Sleepy Joe. I mean, it's a valid question. It's a dark question, but it's a valid question. Will Biden survive another term? Yeah, nobody knows. I've seen people raise that as a concern. And if that's the reason you're voting against him, I get it. If you're kind of saying, if I have to choose between Kamala Harris and Trump, it's a different question than if I have to choose between Biden and Trump. That's legitimate. FDR kind of did a lot to fix the Great Depression. Yeah, that's to say that Biden did more than the majority of past presidents. Yeah, that doesn't make sense because there are so many past presidents who've done such wonderful jobs. Like, I don't understand how somebody substantiates that. But sometimes people just talk. But selling weapons during World War II helped a bit. Let me see. A society can't survive when the government encourages dependence on them, discourages faith, hard work, ambition, independence, and the ability to take care of yourself. Here's the funny thing. Okay. If you look at our country and you say we're slipping into decadence, I wouldn't disagree with you. But is government doing that, or are people doing that? I look at, this is me going on like one of my little personal rants, so be forewarned. I look at things like our ability to celebrate. We can celebrate people who will go on social media and advertise that they're making OnlyFans content. But then if someone goes on social media and says that they're a traditional wife and they like to stay at home, they'll be eviscerated. And you think, well, wait a minute. You're telling me that people find more to connect with in an adult worker than a housewife. I don't get that. People generally seem to want more access to recreational things, let's say. So all of that, like as you talk about less reliance on faith and hard work and ambition, I don't know that the government is encouraging it. I think that's just people. That's just who we are. And government is kind of managing things to some extent. I mean, let's face it. Roe v. Wade was repealed. That's a conservative move, not a liberal move. I think government tries to make some steps that are more conservative, but that's just not what people want. We want the fast lane, and if we crash and burn, so be it. But we want the freedom to go as fast and as far as we want to. And sometimes when you do that, you fly too close to the sun. I don't think there's any way for us to overcome that. I think that's just human nature. Let me see. You can't fault them because the education system, but one has access to the internet where you can learn about all of history. Yeah. Education's a whole separate. We teach people how to take tests. We don't educate people anymore. It's literally, it's all about, I am teaching you how to take tests. And that's it. And if you take tests well, you're educated. Whether you understand material, whether you can translate this into life and, make it useful, that's a whole separate thing. But yeah, I may have to tackle that in a separate stream. This is a good show. We will wrap up because we have covered the reasons why people hate Trump, hate Biden, love Trump, love Biden. What I will say is I do a lot of content getting into Biden versus Trump, the pros and cons. I ask people questions about why they're choosing what they're choosing. So if you're curious, if you want to get a sense for where America's head is with this upcoming election, you want to know who people are supporting, why they're supporting them, take a look at the content. Lots of great questions, lots of great responses. Like and subscribe because I do think you'll enjoy going through, not just seeing what other people have said, but having a chance to participate. Because I ask people, what do you think? Are you in a swing state? Do you agree that these issues are going to be important when it's time to vote or not? And then I just let people comment. I don't really try to police the comment section at all. So that's it. My name's Gene. I'm the last good man in Jersey as a pseudonym. And I stream live at least once a week on Tuesdays, sometimes more. Definitely check me out. Yikes, I'm struggling to hit my close button, so bear with me as I go low tech for just a minute.